Okay, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. We are meeting tonight under extraordinary circumstances. Our community, along with communities around the country and the world, have been observing social distancing and other health safety measures to slow the progress of the COVID-19 pandemic for many weeks. To allow normal or near normal operations of city government functions to continue, the governor of New York has declared a disaster emergency and has issued multiple executive orders, and the city of Rochester mayor has issued several local emergency orders which together authorize the holding of this hearing virtually, subject to waivers of certain requirements of the New York State Open Meetings Law and the Rochester Zoning Code. In addition, at a prior meeting, we amended the Planning Commission rules and procedures to allow us to conduct this hearing as authorized by the governor's and mayor's emergency orders, and to waive other requirements to allow us to proceed with this hearing as I will now describe. Primarily, these waivers involve the requirements for in-person attendance at this hearing. The emergency orders permit us to hold this hearing by teleconference with no in-person attendance, to allow the participant presentation and public testimony by teleconference, written public comments both in favor of or opposed to the application to be submitted by email, by hand copy, documented, mailed to the zoning office, or deposited into the secure drop box located in the permit office in City Hall. The deadline to submit written comments was 5 p.m. Friday, June 11th, 2021. And the deadline to register to provide spoken comment was at 12 noon today, Monday, June 14th, 2021. Although the conduct of this hearing has been altered from some of the normal procedures, many things remain the same. All normal notifications of this hearing, including mail notice, publication, and the posting of the notice were followed. A staff report has been prepared for each application, and that report, along with the application and other pertinent documents, have been presented to the commission members and posted online several days prior to tonight's meeting. All the normal timeframes for applicant presentation and comments in favor of or opposed to the application will remain the same. Most importantly, the commission will hear, review, and make decisions about all the applications with the same due diligence, using the same standards as required by the zoning code. Before we begin, I will explain the ground rules for the hearing. When the case is called, the applicant will be allowed 15 minutes to present their case to the commission. The applications were all posted on the city's website at least a week ago and were available for public review. All applicants were advised to ensure that their applications were complete and included all the information that they intend to present at this hearing tonight. The application is permitted, as the application is permitted, staff will reasonably as possible identify and show the pages of the application that the applicant is addressing in their presentation. Following our normal procedure, commission members may ask the applicant questions about the application. After the applicant's presentation is complete, staff will read into record any public comments that were submitted after the staff report was completed and posted on the city's website. First, those that supported the application, then those in opposition. These comments will be limited to 10 minutes if they were submitted by a neighborhood association, and 3 minutes for all other comments. If reading the submitted written requirement exceeds the time limits, staff will summarize the comments. Public comments that were received in time to be included in the staff report will not be read into the hearing record. The public also has an opportunity to register in advance for this virtual hearing. After the comments have been read, the applicant will have 5 minutes to offer any testimony and rebuttal, and at the conclusion of the applicant's rebuttal testimony, the case will be closed. However, if the commission determines that substantially substantial new information has been presented during the hearing, either during the original or rebuttal testimony, the case will be adjourned and held over to the commission's next announced hearing date in order to give public the opportunity to review and comment on the new evidence. After completing all the hearings of the agenda tonight, the commission may elect to take a short break, which will be announced. After the hearing and break, if any, the commission will commence deliberation and voting on all the applications, except where an application may have been adjourned to the following meeting date. Please note that that if your case is approved tonight or today, a written decision will be mailed to you within 15 business days. The decision will inform you of the next steps to complete in order for the approval process. Before we open the first case, please note that the commission is all volunteers, and we would like each commission member to confirm their presence for the purpose of a roll call by establishing a quorum for this hearing, to introduce themselves and to mention the quadrant in which they live. I will start. Dave Watson, Southwest Quadrant.
Brad Flower, South District.
Richard Mauser, Southeast.
Milton Pichardo, Northeast.
Eugenio Martin, Northwest.
Steve Rebholz, East District.
Markiva Williams, Southwest.
Thank you, Anna. Could you call the first case, please?
Case number 1, file number E23-2021. This is a special permit for 432 Chile Avenue. The request is to expand a previously approved charter school, Rochester Prep, from 315 students to 420 students. This is an action requiring City Planning Commission approval. I would just like to confirm whether or not Commissioner Williams was able to visit the site.
Yes.
Unmute. Yes.
Great. So with that response, all commissioners present tonight were able to visit the site. And then before we get started, or once the applicant is sworn in, I would just like to affirm whether or not a sign was posted on the premises.
Anna, I'm sorry, Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. So this is Commissioner Rebholz. And I would just like to disclose that I work for SWBR Architects. SWBR Architects was the architect for 432 Chile Avenue back in 2014 when this special permit school was initially approved. SWBR is not the architect for this current project, although there were plans that SWBR had prepared back in 2014 that were included in the case. So I just wanted to disclose that we were the architect in 2014. We are not now. I believe I can be fair and impartial in hearing and deliberating on this case.
Thank you, Mr. Rebholz. Anna, do we have, how many people do we have that I can swear in?
Looks like we have 4 people.
Okay, I will be swearing all 4 of you in. I will give you the oath and then respond with your name and your response to the oath.
Make that 5 people. My apologies.
No problem. So we'll do it 5 times. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony that you are about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
This is Betsy Brugg, and I do.
Thank you, Betsy.
This is David Cruzy, and I do.
Thank you, David.
This is Eric Schaff. I do.
Thank you, Eric.
This is John Claypool, and I do.
Thank you, John.
Thomas Bennington, and I do.
Thank you, Thomas. Now you may proceed.
Great, thanks. Nice to see everyone. I'm glad that the technology is hanging on for us tonight. So I won't introduce the team. Everybody's already been introduced. We thank the commission for your patience. We've been on your agenda a couple times and adjourned. The application before you is requesting special permit approval to increase the enrollment at an existing middle school. There are no physical alterations proposed. We are not making any real major changes other than to have the ability to increase the class size of the existing classes. In 2014, a special permit was issued to allow the school to open in this location. They operate grades 5 through 8. It will stay 5 through 8. The number of classrooms, I believe we're going to go up maybe to 16. I think we're going up 1. They were approved for 315 students in 14 classrooms. There's just such a demand. Enrollment has grown to 355, and I believe they're using 15 classrooms, and we'd like to go up to, we'd like to go up to 420 students, and I believe we requested, I'm seeing conflicting numbers here, 15 classrooms. So yeah, we're going up to 15 classrooms. It is a pretty large building. Generally speaking, I think the proposal is relatively benign and has been well received by the neighborhood. There's been some positive feedback from the neighborhood. There was a concern raised with respect to traffic. Apparently there was a student or a child who was hit by a car crossing Chilai Avenue. There was parent pickup and drop off on the south side of Chilai Avenue. David Cruzy is on from SRF. He's been basically going back and forth with Brent Penward and Monroe County DOT, which does the traffic consultation for the city of Rochester, as we try to find a safe solution to the parent drop off and pickup and adequately address any concerns related to traffic. It's taken a little bit of time, but we did address it. I think in your staff report, you'll see all the correspondence that's gone back and forth. So essentially, we are going to relocate the parent pickup drop off and take that off of the south side of Chilai Avenue and move it on to Hobart Street and Lozier. We are also going to be conducting a study after school is open in the fall and things settle into a pattern of normal. It's, as you know, from other school applications that have been before the Planning Commission, it's actually just impossible to look at real normal conditions right now. School has been, operating under less than normal conditions this last year. And we are optimistic that we'll be able to do that analysis in the fall. And that would give us an opportunity to make any adjustments that might be needed at that time. So that is kind of the application in a nutshell. If you have any specific questions or want us to go through more of the traffic details with you, we'd be glad to do that. I know that the Planning Commission does need to do a secret determination, and we are requesting that you issue a negative declaration. We submitted a pretty complete application and addressed all of the standards for the special permit application. Those standards were met back when the school opened in 2014. We continue to meet those. The only thing that really has been an issue on this that was raised by some of the neighbors and neighborhood associations was the traffic concern related to that one incident. And I think that we have addressed that and made the traffic conditions much safer by taking the drop-off pickup right off of the south side of Chilai Avenue. I'd be happy to go through the special permit standards if you'd like. Otherwise, we've done it in writing. I think, we continue to meet all of those standards and criteria. The school is already part of the neighborhood. It's making great use of what was an empty building. It provides an important service to the neighborhood. It's already up and running. This is really a very small change to what is essentially an existing operation. And we're taking this opportunity to address a traffic concern really related to just the operation of the school there, regardless of the number of students.
All right, anything else, Betsy?
I think we'd like to answer any questions. We'd be happy to give you more, but I'm afraid you're going to lose your connection soon. So,
well, that's not a problem. But again, are there any questions for the applicant at this point?
David.
Yes, Steve.
Oh, sorry. This is Steve Rebholz. I'd like the applicant to describe the on-street parking signage on Hobart and Lozier that exists today, and any proposed changes to that on-street parking signage related to establishing these areas as parent drop-off and pickup.
Great. Dave, you want to take that one?
Yeah, I'm just going to pull up the exact language that's out there today. But yes, DOT is going to be replacing the signage to accommodate the new parking plan here. So right now, the signage depicts that on Hobart Street, there's no stopping from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Except for buses on school days. And then on Lozier, again, let me just get the exact language for you in that section that we're talking about. There's no parking from 7 a.m. Monday. It's basically alternate side parking that's occurring in the segment of Lozier that we're going to be affecting. And so the DOT is going to be replacing that signage to accommodate the on-street parking and loading and unloading of that space during those times that we're going to need. So we've responded, as you see in the staff report, we've responded with the dismissal and arrival times to ensure that the DOT adequately creates the window of opportunity to accommodate the loading procedures during those timeframes.
All right, Steve, any other questions?
No, that was it. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. Any other questions for the applicant?
Yep, I've got one, Dave.
Yes, Brad.
Looking at the additional comment for this case, I see mention it's item 3. The school will be prohibiting parent drop-off and pickup on the south side of Chile Avenue. Can you reflect a little bit for us on how you will be doing that? How you're going to keep people from parking there and enforcing?
Yeah. Well, I think that the school is going to have a program. They have regular communication with parents. It's just, at the beginning of the school year when they communicate, and they will make sure that parents are aware of the danger of using the south side of Chile Avenue. There's only so much you can do to stop people from doing whatever they're going to do, but parents will be instructed not to use that for drop-off pickup.
Thanks.
All right, any other questions for the applicant? Yes, Richard, you're on mute.
I guess it's just for my edification. As I was looking at the site, there's parking actually that's north of the school itself and goes from Hobart Street to Lozier Street. And I realize it is a parking lot, but is that part of your parking for the school?
Let's see which parking you're talking about. You're talking about.
It's called 140 Hobart and 27 Lozier Street.
I'm going to pull up the staff report so we can all see what we're talking about. What page are you looking at, Steve? Richard?
Well, it's the
map?
Yeah, I don't, it's not, I'm looking at the Xerox, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right there, that would show it on 140 Hobart and 27 Lozier. There's actually a through parking from one to the other. Is that part of the school parking?
The parking over here where you see lots 21 and 27, this area here, there's a parking easement agreement that allows shared use of that parking. That's part of an alternate parking plan that was approved in 2014.
Okay, and what about property 140 there, 140 Hobart?
I believe that is not included in the parking.
Okay, it's not part of the school.
Correct.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, any other questions for the applicant? Any other questions? Hearing none. Thank you, applicants, plural.
Thank you.
And we will close. Anna, want us to do the seeker now or do it later?
We'll do it at deliberations.
Okay, we'll do a deliberation. All right, thank you all. Have a pleasant evening, and we will have the next case, please.
Thanks.
Anna, do we have any letters that have come in later or, okay.
Okay, so case number 2 is a special permit. The file number is E24-2021. The address is 101 Wyand Crescent and 1050 Garson Ave. The applicant is Ricardo Cortez of Rochester Gas and Electric. The request is to establish a public utility and electrical substation for RG&E. This is an action requiring City Planning Commission approval. You guys are familiar with this one as you held it at the May 10, 2021 hearing. And we've got a team of at least 5 with us.
Okay, I will swear in all 5 of you, and again, respond with your name and your acceptance of the oath. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
This is Mary Stebline. I do.
Thank you, Mary.
This is Stacy Bartle. I do.
Thank you, Stacy.
This is Maggie Yoshida. I do.
Thank you, Megan.
This is Sara Otero. I do.
Thank you.
This is Ricardo Cortez. I do.
Thank you, Ricardo. And you may proceed.
Okay, good evening. I believe that we introduced everybody there, but just to give you an overview, we have with us Sarah, who's the project manager, Stacy, who's public outreach for RG&E, Meg Yoshida, in charge of environmental and permitting, manager of environmental and permitting, and Ricardo Cortez, who is our unit manager for this project. We appeared before the commission last month to request a special permit with waivers for the existing RG&E substation 43 at 101 Wyand Crescent and the adjacent utility transmission right-of-way. Just to recap a little bit, the project includes building the new electrical substation around the existing substation, which will allow reduced outages or impacts to customers during the transition between the two. The major project components include 2 new transformers, which would be surrounded by a 20-foot tall wall that's approximately 66 feet long, a new control house with brick veneer surrounded by a 20-foot which houses equipment indoors. Fencing that was the result of conversation with stakeholders in the neighborhood, as the current fencing does not meet code. And vegetation along the eastern property line, which would provide screening from Wyand Crescent. Based on the Commission's questions last month, we have revisited a few items: the wall height, the wall appearance, and the use of vegetation at the northeastern corner of the proposed substation. So Anna, if you could take us to page 51 of the staff report. Just want to take a look at what we had. Yeah, that's it. The rendering that we had shown last month. And the first item that was noted in the hold letter was the wall height. And we were asked to explore reducing the height of the wall to be less visually obtrusive. In looking at this again, the height of that wall is dictated by both the need for fire protection and for noise attenuation from the transformer, the equipment that would be on the south side of that wall. So a wall shorter than 20 feet would not meet the objectives for noise attenuation in this residential setting. It would provide the fire protection needs, but again, would not meet the needs for noise attenuation. So for this reason, we cannot reduce the wall height and still meet noise attenuation requirements. The second item that we looked at, Anna, if you could switch to page 11, get us started. So the second item was requested was to improve the appearance of the screening wall so that it is not a monotonous structure. So you see from this rendering, this is one of 2 decorative wall options that we put together. The light gray and red is meant to blend a little bit with the control house, which, as I indicated, would have that brick veneer. This concrete, we've moved ahead with the split face concrete block concrete is required to meet the fire rating and wind protection standards for this site. So we stuck with concrete as our options. So this is the first option. And then Anna, if you could switch over to page 14, we have another variation that we considered. Okay, and this is variations of light gray and dark gray, which is just considering that our initial submission was gray. We thought this might be another option to consider. So both of these options allow for the textured side of that concrete block to face outward, providing a little more architectural movement along that wall, in addition to having some varying colors in order to make the wall a little more aesthetically pleasing and interesting. So the third item that was highlighted in the hold letter was the concept of landscape screening. And the commission had requested that we consider an alternative means to place screening shrubbery along the residential property line, which you can see in the kind of the foreground of this image. The first option suggested was to set the 9-foot tall fence line back in the northeastern portion of the proposed substation. In looking at the existing substation design and the future proposed design, we determined that the fence is proposed in its current location for a variety of reasons. There is some existing underground electrical infrastructure in the northern part of the substation, which requires a particular separation from the fence line. There's a manhole, an existing underground electrical circuit, also just south of the north fence line, and that circuit runs parallel to the proposed north fence line in its entirety from the east to west. So there is not room for us to move that north fence line to the south. In addition, since this new substation will be built around the existing energized substation in order to limit customer outages, space is already limited for construction. Inadequate space needs to be maintained for the construction of the transformer foundations, which of course are more extensive below the ground than what you're seeing above the ground. So based on these reasons, we did not find it was feasible to move a portion of the northern fence line further south, which was one of the requests for us to consider. We'd also like to note that the residential property owner to the north, Ms. Smith, has expressed that she does not want vegetation along the substation's northern fence line. So in trying to find a way to balance the commission's comments as well as taking the homeowner's requests into consideration, we have 3 options along that northeast corner of the substation. So the first one that we're showing in this rendering is no vegetation, which is the request of the adjacent homeowner. And if you go to the next page, we can see what it would look like with this wall variation and also the 4 arborvitae that we could put in there to provide a little bit of screening. However, we do note this is at the objection of the homeowner, but it would meet the commission's request. And then if we go to the next page, we've also considered an option where we make that portion of the fence solid in order to provide a little bit of additional screening. And again, no vegetation per the homeowner's request. So we feel that this option 3 would provide screening in the requested manner, but also appease the adjacent homeowner who doesn't want any vegetation along that fence line. So we have this. We have renderings with the other wall colors as well. I don't know if the commission would like to review all of those, but we'd like to continue this conversation about the wall and the vegetation, and we are available for any further questions.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions for the applicant this time?
Before we go into questions, I just wanted, for the record, Anna, you could tell me if I'm mistaken, but I believe only Commissioner Rebholz wasn't present at the last meeting, right? Yes. So Steve, Commissioner Rebholz, did you have a chance of reviewing the recording and the record of the last hearings so that you can assist at this hearing?
Yes, I did.
Okay, thank you.
And then also, Commissioner Williams, would you be able to let us know whether or not you visited the site?
Yes, I have.
Great. So all present commissioners have visited the site.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Any questions for the applicant? Any questions?
Sure.
Yes, Richard.
Which scheme with the concrete block around the transformers, which scheme was the architects involved preferring?
You're asking which
which
one the architects preferred?
Yeah, when
Well,
they designed these different options.
Well, both of those options were provided by one of the architects in our office. They were both suggestions of the architect. So it's really more a matter of, whether there's a preference on behalf of the city or the adjacent resident. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I thought you said there were other options that were not shown here.
Those are the only two that we developed for purposes of this application.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. Any other questions for the applicant?
I have one, and that's just what is the on one of the fence options where it's made solid. How is that done? Is it?
So the fence on that north side that borders 127 Wyan Crescent is a non-conductive fence, which means it's kind of like a, I guess, equivalent like a PVC type of material. And around at the southwest corner of the property is the cell tower, and the cell tower currently has that deteriorating green wooden fence around it for cell tower regulation purposes. So they have requested to put a solid fence around that portion of the parcel. So that portion of the parcel is also going to have, it's essentially the same fence that is diamond shaped, has diamond shaped holes and openings. And then on the inside of the station, there is the same type of material, but a giant solid piece of material that goes on the inside of the fence. So from the outside, you will see the same diamond shaped mesh, but on the inside, there's essentially a giant flat piece of PVC plywood, essentially, that gets added to it. So it's 100% not see-through. Opaque, I guess, is the word I'm looking for.
Just adding that this option of solid fence is provided by the same vendor, so it's from the catalog.
Yeah, good call. Exact same company, same color and everything.
Right.
Does that answer what you need?
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Any other questions for the applicant?
I guess the only would be which option are you gonna go with? We're not here to give you the option. I think you guys did what was required to explore different options. But I'm curious of which one you guys gonna move with.
Well, I think this is the same case as we made previously in the site plan application. I mean, we provide different options, and in the meeting where the city of Rochester, who bought one, like for example, the facade of the control house building was voted in the previous city of Rochester meeting. So in this case, we provide different options for you to vote what you prefer. I mean, for us, both are acceptable, or also for the first three options are acceptable.
I think I'd like to mention at this point that I've had numerous conversations with the homeowner, and the shaded screened option is by far and large her preference. So just take that under consideration. She wants no vegetation, but we have given her the other options in the event that that's not popular or possible. What would be the next best, and that was her choice. So we just want to make sure, we've done our due diligence with the homeowner as well.
Oh, very well. Yeah, I don't have anything else other than maybe as you explore which option you're gonna choose, please consider the existing building. And if you try to match, or at the very least, having somewhat of a consistency because you have all the vegetation in the front. So maybe something very similar to the building have to be a little maybe on top, because then you will probably have the same gray versus the orange or brick color. So just explore as you choose. I know one has it in the bottom, the other one has a line on the top. Just take that in consideration. That's all.
Any other questions for the applicant? Yes, Richard?
Yeah, I guess I want to add to Milton's comments there. I don't think it's also, in terms of just doing something that could be interesting, I don't think it's just a matter of stripes and color, but it could be smoothness versus rough surface. So, I guess I'm thinking the architects could do a little more with that in terms of doing something to the facade there with not just color, but with smooth texture versus the split-face block texture.
All right, thank you, Richard. Any other questions? Before we close, again, I would just like to commend the RG&E for coming back to us with some options. Again, it's always nice when we ask for something and we're provided with things that we needed to be able to make a decision that's appropriate for the case that we're deliberating. And I think you did a good job in giving us with options. Now the ball's in our court, and we will get back to you as soon as we can.
We also have public comment.
Okay, we do. So we'll have, before we close, we'll have public comment. Thank you, Anna.
I believe Miss Smith is here. Miss Cynthia Smith, do you want to unmute yourself?
And I will swear you in. Miss Smith, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, let me swear you in. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, and give us your full name, please, for the record. Could you give
Miss
us your,
Smith, oh, it's gone.
could you give us your full name for the record? Ms. Smith, are you there?
Let's see here. Cynthia, are you there?
Did we lose her, Anna?
I still see her, but what we can do is we have another commenter, so maybe we'll let Miss Mary Coffey go ahead, and then we'll try again with Cynthia in a minute.
Okay, I'll swear Ms. Coffey in. Let me swear you in, Ms. Coffey.
Okay.
Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, and give us your full name again for the record.
Mary Coffey, Coffey.
Thank you very much. You may proceed.
First and foremost, I'd like to thank RG&E. It's a big corporation, how they worked with the neighborhood and with North Winton Village in upgrading and making this a much better and nicer looking thing. And it shows what good corporations can do when we work together with them in the city. So I first want to thank them and Yvette, who started working with us. We asked for, brick and it's, or a brick facade, and we got it. And of course we like the trees all around, but I understand if the neighbor lives right next door. And also, I think the two different walls are very nice. The gray seemed to just kind of really nicely blend, but that's my personal opinion. overhaul. Thank you. And thank you for upgrading this and making it nice and working with all our people here at City Hall.
Thank you, Ms. Coffey. Anna, do we have Ms. Smith back?
No, it looks like she's no longer on the call.
Okay, do we have anyone else for this case?
That was it. So I'm just double checking, but that was it.
Understand.
So
Okay.
the applicants are welcome to respond to those comments and also to the comments by the commissioners about options on the wall appearance.
Well, I would like to add a comment. So thank you, Mary, for your nice words. As I explained before, with the meeting that we made with the Neighbors Association and with the City of Rochester previously, we provide different options for the landscaping. And as you remember, it was voted and decided. In this case, for the transformer walls, I'm just worried. I mean, we understand from the previous meeting that what we were looking for was to add texture on that wall and no more colors than not just a plain wall gray with concrete blocks. So as I just want to emphasize, as we explain, the wall, because of the fire protection requirements, need to be concrete block. And because of that, we thought in the split face concrete block that has texture, I mean, we can explore other colors as you talk. We provide the gray and red option, thinking in matching the colors of the control house building, and the gray, the different tones of gray, just to give in a second option as well. That colors, or if the commissioners think that other colors will be fit better, it's good for us. I mean, always that the material is the concrete block, and as we explained there, a split face concrete block will provide that texture that was asked in the previous meeting. So, I mean, I think we are providing the options that we are looking for. I just want the commissioners to understand the project each month delaying the construction. It's supposed a lot of funding cost for the project. So, I mean, we are more, we appreciate, of course, your comments, and we are welcome to hear. But I just would like to ask, like, if in this case you have more comments about that wall or colors, if we can provide the options to the next meeting, the zoning meeting. If it's the case that the two options that we give for the wall is not enough for you, we can explore more. And about the fence, we provide the three options: the no vegetation as the neighbor request, the vegetation as the City of Rochester codes request, and the solid fence as a third option there. So as I say, we are welcome to hear your comments in the end of the meeting, but I would like to ask you to consider also the cost that the project has when it's delayed or hold. And yeah, we can implement, of course, any change that is needed, but we need to move on to the next step on this permit.
It looks like in the front you do have the wrought iron fence that you had originally said, which is lovely, and it was way upgraded from what was originally there. And I think that looks great. And I understand I mean, we'd love to see it all, but that neighbor has to live next door. So, you know, that's her, you know, how she's looking at it. But you very much upgraded the fence, and thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comment from the applicant? Okay, again, thank you so much for your comments, and I think we have enough information that we can make a decision with the options that you provided. So that being said, the comments being given, we will close this case, and maybe have the next case, Anna. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Case number 3, file number E27-2021. The address is 177 Dr. Samuel McCree Way. The applicant is Isi Abukar and Baraka Osman. The request is to establish a 5-space ancillary parking lot to serve the mixed-use building located at 423 Jefferson Ave, an action requiring City Planning Commission approval. This is a special permit. Commissioner Williams, do you mind just letting me know whether or not you visited the site?
Yes, I have.
So I have here all present commissioners have visited the site.
And Anna, who do we have presenting?
We have Jeremy Kimball, the design professional. I guess while I'm here, I can also state that at the pre-meeting, an earlier meeting this evening, a negative environmental declaration was issued by this entity on this one.
No, is
Yep, Jeremy's here.
Jeremy, let me swear you in and then just respond by giving us your name, your full name, and how you respond to the oath, and then we'll let you proceed. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
This is Jeremy Kimball, and I do.
Thank you, Jeremy, and you may proceed, sir.
Okay, a little background on this this project. Essentially, the applicant is looking to renovate the adjacent, their adjacent property at 423 Jefferson Avenue. And in doing so, they'd like to reshape, repave the parking lot that's just to the west of it. It's been a parking field for quite some time now. It's pretty roughed up. And so basically we're proposing to expand the existing curb cut that is shared with the property to the west, which is 179 Dr. Samuel McCree Way. And we'd like to stripe 5 parking spaces. We propose some landscape screening between the parking and the City of Rochester sidewalk. And we also propose to install a new sidewalk from the lot to the public sidewalk. The staff report that Anna provided us showed that we do have some code deficiencies that I'd be happy to address with any sort of questions the commission would have for me. But I guess to bring them up is there's some bicycle parking required. I was thinking that we could expand the sidewalk further south into the site along the building. We could expand the sidewalk, potentially have some spaces for bicycles to park there. In addition, there was a question on where the refuse would be located. I think for a long time now, it looks from the Google Maps, it looks like they've just been kind of just placed in the existing parking field. But I suppose we could also have the totes stationed at the essentially along that proposed sidewalk as well. We could expand that sidewalk south and have a location for them. Additionally, there was a concern about decorative fence, along with the landscaping. We could absolutely add that to the site plan as well. I think those were the main concerns. I think that's pretty much it as far as the overview of the project. Essentially reshaping, repaving the existing parking field, expanding the curb cut, and installing some shrubs as screening and a sidewalk path out to the public sidewalk.
All right, anything else, sir?
I think that's it. I'd be happy to take any questions.
All right. Any questions for the applicant? Any questions for the applicant? Jeremy, I guess just a quick question. Anna, could you put that last picture up or page up? That's Jeremy. That shows it looks like an 8-foot, 7-inch asphalt area on the neighbor. Is that the neighboring property?
That's correct. Yep.
And then your property line or your property depth appears to be about 24 feet to the building.
Yes.
You have 19 and then 5 feet. So again, I know that you were looking at wanting to have common access to the parking lot. So you will be sharing some of that area, back in turn-in area with the neighbors, and likewise with you.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of been, from what I can gather from the lot, that's kind of been what's been going on for quite some time now.
Okay.
And I think the applicant understands that would be the case in the future.
Okay, and I guess second question, you were looking at or talking about the refuse collection or dumpster. Does this property serve both the Himalayan House LLC and the Abundant Faith Life Center? Are those the only two properties that have access to refuse, or does the Abundant Faith, the second one, also have access to that?
I cannot say whether or not the church does, but certainly the lot at the corner, the adjacent
Housing.
Yeah, the Himalayan housing, they would utilize that.
Okay, I guess I was asking that in regards to the refuse collection. If it's only that one building and not the other two, they would probably have their own, and it wouldn't be necessary to put something in that lot.
Certainly something we can approach the church. I don't know what they do currently. I don't know what they've been used to.
Right.
But it's certainly something that we could approach the church and see. I don't know if they put their refuse out on Jefferson Avenue. I'm not exactly sure how they do it.
Okay.
But it's certainly something we can look into, of course.
Yeah, again, it's not something that I was asking about, but I guess I was more concerned if they historically have used the back as opposed to Jefferson Avenue, then that would make a difference. So I think you answered my question. All right, thank you, Jeremy. Any other questions for the applicant?
I do have a question, David. This is
Yes,
Steve Rebholz. And with the shared driveway and the need for the the parking aisle to overlap onto the neighboring property, is there an easement in place for both properties that are going to be sharing this this portion of the vehicle circulation?
Not that I know of, but it's certainly something that I can check with the county clerk to see if there is an existing easement. If not, then I suppose that's something that I could have my applicant approach the adjacent homeowner and perhaps get their lawyers together and get something in writing.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. Any other questions for the applicant? Yes, Richard.
Hi. Has the adjacent property owner, on McCree Way, has he been contacted with this regarding this at all, or is he aware of the development?
I'm not.
Any comments?
I'm not sure if the applicants have touched base with the adjacent homeowner. I'm not certain of that, but I can reach out to the applicant and see if he's spoken with them.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant? All right, seeing none. Anna, do we have any testimony or input from the community?
Nope, no comment on this one.
Okay, so with that being said, unless there are any other questions, we will close this case. Maybe have the next case, please, Anna. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Case number 4, special permit, file number E28-2021, address 1080 East Ave, The applicant is Chad Flint. The request is to establish an outdoor market, a public and semi-public use on the grounds of this place of worship from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Mondays from June 21 to September 27, 2021. This is an action requiring City Planning Commission approval. Commissioner Williams, were you able to visit the site?
Yes.
So I have here all present commissioners visited the site, and we have one person providing the testimony on this tonight.
Okay. And who is that?
Chad Flint.
Chad? Okay, Chad, I will swear you in and give us your, when you respond, give us your name and how you're responding to the oath. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
My name is Chad Flint, and I agree.
Okay, Chad, could you turn up your volume a little bit? I can hardly hear you.
Is that better?
That's much better. Thank you, Chad. You
Okay.
may proceed.
All right, hi everybody. My name is Chad Flint. I am looking to set up a new farm market in the edge of the Neighborhood of the Arts, right between Neighborhood of the Arts and the Park Ave area at Asbury First Methodist Church. I have been involved with some different markets around the city for the last few years. I'm the current manager of the South Wedge Market in the South Wedge. I vend at the West Side Market, so I've got experience in a lot of the different markets around the city. And I think that this is an area that doesn't have a market, a small market servicing it during the week. So I spent about a year kind of planning this and trying to get things together where a decent location where I thought we could have a good group of vendors and do things like that. I approached Asbury First because I knew they had a new community garden that they were opening up that I believe you guys heard that on about maybe 6 or 7 months ago. Where they've got 10 raised beds, and they were actually pretty excited. They thought this would pair pretty well together to be able to try to get people involved with their garden, have a table there, and be able to recruit new members there. So I've went back and forth with them quite a bit to kind of get a decent plan. Right now, we have, I gave you guys a list of the potential vendors we have. I actually have a couple more that have popped up since then. We have a couple of bakers that have come on board. And I actually just talked to a used book store that wants to sell used books there also. So we've had pretty good commitment from some vendors right now. It looks like we have maybe probably 7 that are already committed to the first couple of weeks if we're able to open. And then I've got 5 or 6 more that we're talking to. We've got the basics covered. I've got a produce vendor coming in, ready to go. I've got my maple syrup business. That's what I do. And then we've got pickles and microgreens and some other different things that have come in, some fresh flowers. So, I think it's a real walkable area between the Neighborhood of the Arts and Park Ave. Neighborhood of the Arts Business Association and the Park Ave Merchants both submitted letters supporting the project. Several businesses in the area did. One of my concerns was parking, but Granger has parking on both sides of the street, and it's typically not busy that time of night on a Monday because some of the businesses aren't open in the area. So that was kind of the theory behind having it on Monday night. I've been around in that area of the neighborhood, up and down the streets, passing out flyers, talking to different people that I've seen, and I've really gotten a lot of real positive feedback. There's several letters that were submitted by people from the area that have lived in that area for quite a while that I think are excited. So it sounds like we're off to a good start if we can get approval to get this opened up.
All right, anything else, Chad?
I think that's it.
All right, thank you. At this time, any questions for the applicant? Any questions? Yes, Richard?
Yeah, hi, Chad. Your application says that off-street parking is available at the church, rear north parking lot. Is that it?
Yeah, so the only issue with the off-street parking, we can use it, but the market does start when they have pickup for school, for the school that they operate there. So there's still access to it, but it's not going to be unlimited access to it, which is why, I included as part of the application that we would, have the street parking right there, just to hopefully avoid any customers kind of buzzing in and out when the kids are getting picked up from the church school.
I will, so Chad, I'll explain like a nuance to the zoning code real quick. Neighborhood streets can't be considered for on-street parking
Okay.
simply because we don't want to compete with the residential uses there.
Mhm.
So we really only evaluate like arterial or collector streets.
Yeah,
In this
so-
case, there is on-street. The on-street that you would potentially cite on Granger, we can just transfer that over to East Ave itself so as to not
Okay.
compete with the
Well,
residential.
and is university would qualify also.
Yep,
Yes,
exactly.
yeah. So there is significant parking on University. East Ave does have an hour where you're not supposed to park on East Ave in that area. So that was why I don't think I included that in the application, just because of that issue with the 1 hour there. But I had University in mind. I didn't know about the residential streets.
Okay, if I can continue. How much of that parking lot at Asbury would be available for you? How many spaces?
I don't have the answer to that question in terms of, like, we didn't agree on a number of spaces. They just said that you know, there's a section of the lot right next to the grassy area that's for their staff. But right now with COVID, they typically only have maybe 2 of those spaces full, and they said that any of the spaces that are available there would be the best place for customers to park. And then, you know, we also have some access to that lot. You know, we didn't agree on a number of spaces when we talked.
So, but you're referring to that small parking area on the north side of that grass
So
area?
there's that's the immediate place that David and I had talked about right there. There's probably, I think there's 15 spaces right there. And he said right now that there's a maximum of like 3 staff that's in there because they're not, most of them are working from home right now. But then the back lot does have, I counted them and I don't have the number on top of my head, but I think it was like maybe 80 spots back there in the back lot that's kind of behind the school and the church.
Okay, but there's no real agreement with Asbury about allowing a certain number of spaces, correct?
No, we did not, because when we spoke, like I said, I wasn't aware of the not counting the spots on Granger. But you know, there is all of those spots on University and the ones along East Ave. You know, the ones along East Ave are probably closer than the ones on Granger, and then the ones at University are just, you know, maybe 100 feet, not really 100 feet. They're probably 50 feet down the street to the end of University there.
Okay, thank you.
Right, any other questions for the applicant? Any other questions? Thank you, sir. Anna, do we have any comments?
Yeah, we have, in addition to the comments that were included in the staff report, we have one member of the public who signed up to speak. So Patricia, if you'd like to click unmute, and if you so choose, you can turn on your video, and you have 3 minutes to give your public testimony.
And I will swear in.
Yep, thank you. So Patricia, on your screen.
Patricia, are you there?
We just have to figure out how to unmute.
Oh.
So Patricia, if you look on your screen, there'll be an option to unmute yourself. Oh, she says she doesn't have a computer with audio visual. Okay. So it looks like I know that the written comment deadline has passed. So written comment was received, or was the deadline for written comment was 5 p.m. on Friday, June 11th. So any comment received outside of that deadline will not be heard this evening. So Patricia, if you submitted outside of that deadline, we wouldn't be able to read that into the record.
Is there any way she can participate by phone
or by chat?
Yeah, Patricia, I can give you a phone number to call in if you'd like to give your verbal testimony that way. Okay, she says yes by phone, so I'm gonna mute myself and just send her that number.
Okay, no, wait.
Patricia, if you go into that email that you originally registered in, there should be a call-in number there. Do you mind going back and referencing that email in your inbox? I think that's how you get the call-in number. Yes, it's a long number.
I think it's okay to read her letter in lieu of the fact that if she has technical difficulties.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
I live directly behind Asbury Methodist Church at
And what's her name?
Patricia Leadley, Rozo Leadley. So ROZZO -LEADLEY. I live directly behind Asbury Methodist Church at 1025 University Ave, and I think this is a lovely idea. My first question is about parking availability. Can folks use the back parking lot? Though hopefully folks coming to this outdoor market would come on foot. My second question is about foot traffic and how it will be directed. The other concern is about garbage, not only for the parking lot, but for all along the walking perimeter of the sidewalks of the church. My hope would be that plenty of provisional garbage cans can be made available every Monday, though I just read the application as it shows it's carry in, carry out. I hope they bring in vendors who have greens and veggies. My other question would be about small entertainment opportunities. Is this an appropriate venue for a little of that? Is this an appropriate venue for a little of that to be allowed? I'm not sure how it works in any other neighborhood markets around. Thanks for considering my input, Patricia.
All right, thank you, Anna. Any other comments that we received?
That was it.
Okay.
Outside of the ones that were originally included in the staff
Yes.
report.
And Mr. Flint, if you like to comment, you have the opportunity to do so.
I'll address her questions. You know, we've addressed the parking. We've addressed the parking one. We have veggies and greens. You know, I have at least one vendor bringing veggies and greens. On the entertainment issue, I didn't put that into the application because I thought that was something that might lead to it not getting approved the first year. I wanted to kind of be, you know, just simple farm market vendors. You know, I thought that was enough for me to handle the first year.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the garbage, the last thing I do as the manager of the South Wedge is walk through and clean anything up that's left over. You know, we don't put out garbage cans because that seems to encourage garbage. You know, the vendors all do have usually something with them to keep the garbage from their stall in there. But everybody's very good about cleaning up after themselves. It's one of the big rules that we have with everybody. You know, and I mean, and honestly, if I noticed there was any kind of problem on the street, I would pick it up before I left. I live in the neighborhood, so it's not something that I would want to see from something with my name on it. I think that was all of her questions, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. That being said, we will close this case and we'll have the next case, Anna. Thank you, sir.
Case number 5, file E29-2021, address 1438-1440 Clifford Ave. The applicant is Richard Fallon. The request is to reestablish retail sales and service, a non-conforming use in a vacant space of a non-conforming building operating from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. This is an action requiring City Planning Commission approval. This is a special permit. Commissioner Williams, were you able to visit the site?
Yes.
Okay, great. I have here all present commissioners have visited the site, and we have one person with us this evening, Mr. Christopher Costanza.
Can you hear me and see me now? There we go.
Dave, you're muted.
Sorry about that, trying to be efficient. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And your full name, please?
Christopher Costanza.
Thank you, sir, and you may proceed.
Thank you. This project is for 1438 Clifford Avenue. Originally, the building was built as a commercial mixed-use building, and the current owner has owned the building since the early 1980s. During the time, most of the time, he had a commercial tenant in the first floor commercial spaces in the building. There's two of them. And in 2017, his commercial tenant left. And he tried to get another tenant in there. And then because the zoning code had changed around 2000 or so, the district is now an R1 district. So the building does not, the commercial space does not fit within the zoning code. So that's why we're here today. And the owner has found a new tenant that wants to move in there into the space. She makes clothes and has a clothing store. So this use is very similar to the business that was in there prior, which was a church clothing store. And then before that, it was a small grocery store for many years. So the hours of operation are very similar to what was in there in the past. It's a pretty low intensity use. There's not a lot of traffic going in and out of, like a custom clothing store every day. And then there's also some tailoring, custom clothing, seamstress activities going on in there. The space is a very small space. It's not very large. It has one major storefront window facing Clifford Avenue, and then a side window on the alley, which is a smaller window with less visual into the space. Overall, it's a nice use for the building. I think it's compatible with the neighborhood because it doesn't have a high intensity, for either for hours or for foot traffic. And there's not a lot of parking needed for it either. And I will let you answer or ask questions.
All right, thank you, sir. Any questions for the applicant? Any questions for the applicant this time? Hearing none or seeing no hands, we'd like to thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And Anna, do we have any comments for this application?
Yes. So
Okay.
the city planning office submitted a comment so all comments were received prior to the staff reports went out, were included with the staff report. So those would be attached to the document itself. This was received after its publication, so I'll read it here now. The City of Rochester's Planning Office reviewed the agenda for June 14, 2021 meeting of the City Planning Commission. Please consider the following comment for Agenda E29, 2021. To reestablish retail sales and service and nonconforming use in a vacant space of a nonconforming building operating from 6 to 9 p.m. This use aligns with Rochester 2034's placemaking plan, which identifies 1438-1440 Clifford Ave as being located in a medium residential character area. According to the placemaking plan's vision for this character area, built as commercial buildings should be allowed the opportunity to be occupied with a low intensity commercial use. Since the first floor of this building has historically been used for retail space, we recommend that the CPC approves this proposal. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions.
All right, those are the ones we had?
Yep.
All right, that being said, we will close this case.
Well, the applicant's welcome
to respond.
Welcome to respond. He doesn't have to, but.
I agree fully, so I'm good with that. Thank you.
Okay, sir. All right, that being said, we will close this case. Maybe have the next case. Thank you, Mr. Costanza.
This is case number 6. The file number is E30-2021. The address is 419-427 Thurston Road. The applicant is Makbulian Bibi. The request is to modify the previously approved special permit E3-1819 for the establishment of retail sales and service for a bakery and deli operating from 6 to 9 p.m. An action requiring City Planning Commission approval. Commissioner Williams, were you able to visit the site?
Yes.
All present commissioners have visited the site. And it looks like we have 2 persons present to testify.
Right? And for the two people who are be testifying in this application, I will swear you in and then respond, give us your name and your response to the affidavit with the affidavit. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
This is Sarah Spencer. I do.
Thank you, Sarah.
This is Makulan Bibi. I do.
Thank you, Ms. Beebe. And you may proceed with your application.
Good evening, commissioners. This is Sarah Spencer from Bond, Chennick and King on behalf of the applicant, Ms. Beebe, and she's also on the meeting tonight to answer any questions. And I apologize for not participating via video. I lost my internet connection last minute, so this will have to do. This application is for a special permit for a convenience store at 419 to 427 Thurston Road. And I listened to the pre-meeting internal meeting between the commissioners, and it sounds like you have background with this property and you're familiar with the 2018 special permit for the bakery deli use. And we submitted a supplemental letter along with the special use application showing how this application is in conformance with the standards in for granting such a use and how it's in conformance with the 2034 comprehensive plan. And I know that in the past there have been some potential issues with this property with compliance, and I know there have been complaints, and Ms. Beebe has worked very hard to rectify the previous issues with the property, and many of the issues were caused by a tenant that had control of the property and was not in compliance with that previous 2018 approval. Since the departure of that tenant, the store has gone back to how it was approved in 2018. The hours of operation have been reduced, and now the store closes at 9 p.m. every night as it should. Sort of that alleviates some of the neighborhood concerns. But specifically here, Ms. Beebe is requesting the convenience store use because she is having trouble financially with the bakery deli use. It is not profitable, and she needs to expand the use to keep the store open. And she's requesting that she be allowed to sell lottery and tobacco products in addition to snacks and dairy products and other items such as fresh groceries, fruits and vegetables. She wants to bring a more comprehensive store to the neighborhood because she has such a walkable, accessible location. And she would like to expand her offerings, but at the same time continue the hot prepared food and the bakery items. And I guess I'll take a minute to go over the improvements that Ms. Beebe has made to the property in conjunction with the 2018 approval. She has redone the exterior of the property and the building. As you know, it was previously used as an automotive repair shop, and it was vacant when she purchased the property. She has redone the exterior so that there's windows instead of garage bays. The parking lot has been redone. She's added additional landscaping. She has enclosed the refuse area, the dumpster. The building has been painted, new lighting, and it really looks quite nice from the street. And as Anna mentioned in the 5 o'clock meeting, there were some non-compliant signs which have been removed. And Ms. Beebe has worked with the city, Anna, and other city representatives to make those corrections to the property to ensure that it's in compliance. And she really is just requesting an expanded convenience store use because she feels the neighborhood needs this use. She feels she can provide an excellent store for the neighborhood, and that's evidenced by the petition we submitted, signed by many residents and many neighbors. And I know that many comments have been submitted in support of the store. And Ms. Beebe wants to work with the neighborhood to reduce any sort of negative connotations with her previous, the tenant that was there. And she really would like to improve this and make this a neighborhood destination. Ms. Beebe, do you have any comments that you would like to add?
No, I think you've explained very well.
Okay. And yeah, we are open to answering any questions that the commissioners have.
All right. Thank you, Sarah. At this time, any questions for the applicant? Any questions for the applicant? I guess I have just one question.
Sure.
Did Ms. Beebe have an opportunity to see the letter or the information from the 19th Ward Association regarding the operation of her business?
Yes, we discussed it earlier. She did have an opportunity to review it. And I think a lot of the things brought up in that letter are, like I mentioned, leftover issues from the prior tenant. And I think even as evidence in the letter, since some of those issues have been resolved, the store has been a non-issue in the neighborhood. The hours of operation have returned to normal. And I think she's really worked hard to rectify the issues. And I know that it mentioned, the sales of tobacco and how that would negatively affect the community. But I think it was a little extreme to suggest that selling tobacco is, inviting illegal drugs into the neighborhood. That's certainly not what Ms. Beebe is trying to do here. I think it's well-known that lottery and tobacco items are high profitability items for convenience stores, and Ms. Beebe is, trying to make ends meet. She's had a difficult year, like many local businesses, with COVID, and she's just trying to, keep the door open, keep her customers satisfied, and really provide an asset to the neighborhood.
All right, thank you. Any other questions for the applicant? No other questions? Anna, do we have any comments that need to be read?
Yes, there are a number of comments. The first one is from the Neighborhood Association. Neighborhood associations are allowed 10 minutes to comment. So what I'm going to do as I read it is I'm going to set a timer for myself so I don't go over it. Any comment received prior to the staff report's publication was sent to the City Planning Commission along with the staff report. Any comment received after was is included now, and I'll be reading into the record here for you. But let me just get my timer. It's good to go. Alrighty. The 19th Ward Community Association, founded in 1965 to address threats to a stable and integrated residential community, urges the CPC to deny the applicant's request to modify the previous approved special permit for the establishment of retail sales and service for a bakery and deli. A primary reason for requesting a denial is the increase in intensity of use that accompanies the addition of tobacco and lottery product sales in a convenience store format. However, it first must be pointed out that in nearly 3 years, the applicant has failed to comply with multiple conditions of the July 2018 CPC condition. A true functioning bakery deli has never been implemented. The implementation was that of a convenience store deli with prepared food, a few purchased packaged bakery items displayed for appearances, and the abundance of snack and beverages. Numerous deviations from the proposed site plan began to appear when construction began in October 2019. In general, cheaper, less durable options were being substituted for approved specified items. One example, yellow striped asphalt, was used instead of the requested stamped concrete walkways. A letter from the 19th Ward Community Association documented 15 items. See attachment 1. The store was issued a conditional certificate of occupancy to open December 8, 2019. Unfortunately, it noted only 5 of the many items in the site plan were not yet completed. Once the store opened, there was no further progress in site plan compliance. The most egregious violations occurred in November 2020 when the store was sublet to others who completely changed the store layout, signage, hours of operation until 10 p.m., and introduced a wall of tobacco and vape products, smoking paraphernalia, hookahs, etc. A letter to the NSC documented 6 issues. See attachment 2. RPD filed an incident report. 6 nuisance points were assessed for the sale of tobacco without a business permit. The leasee was released, tobacco products and paraphernalia removed, and the store layout returned to its prior configuration. In December 12, 2020, site visit by the Southwest Neighborhood Service Center documented 22 issues of noncompliance with the approved site plan. See attachment 3. The applicant's failure to comply with the CPC conditions and disregard for other City of Rochester code requirements, construction permits, compliance signage, etc., has been consistent since purchasing 419 Thurston Road in 2013 and at their convenience store at 718 Joseph Ave. A timeline of activities at 419 Thurston is attached. See attachment 4. Linkage between tobacco products and intensity of use. Residents of the Crescent neighborhoods are very familiar with the clientele attracted by cigars, blunts, Sweetheart Rose crack pipes, hookahs, bongs, etc. It's typical to see lumps of tobacco on the ground in the area around stores selling these products, as customers cut cigars open to insert their drug of choice. Customers loiter near the store or in their parked cars. Previous City of Rochester codes termed the stores selling these as items as high impact. In mid-November 2020, nearby residents reported an increase in loitering at 419 Thurston. A vigilant neighbor alerted the Southwest Neighborhood Service Center that area youth were bragging about being able to obtain tobacco products at the store. The Southwest Neighborhood Service Center and RPD responded. This photo of tobacco products was taken inside 419 Thurston on November 8, 2020, prior to their removal. The applicant now wishes to return this wall of products. It appears on the proposed floor plan on the shelves behind the cashier, not far from the ice cream cooler. Regarding intensity of use versus Thurston Road residential character. The proposed application will indeed have a substantial or undue effect upon adjacent property, the character of the neighborhood, and other matters affecting the public health and safety and general welfare. The 19th Ward Community Association consistently opposes any increase in intensity of use affecting adjacent R1 owner occupants, investor owners, and tenant residents. Our greatest concern is for the quality of life for the 19th Ward residents, especially so for owner occupants. The section of Thurston Road surrounding 419 is predominantly residential, hence the R1 zoning shown in green shades. Dark green properties are owner occupied, light green are tenant residents, C1 commercial is pink. Properties on all 4 sides of 419 Thurston Road are residential. Properties on 3 sides are owner occupied, including one true mom and pop business operator at 415 Thurston who owns the property and lives there. Home Leasing recently invested $10 million to renovate 48 units at 447 Thurston Road across from 419 Thurston. Home Leasing plans to build new homes at 440 and 444 Thurston. Both will face 419 Thurston. The serene 5-acre Megiddo Church property is 160 feet south. The property at 419 was operated as a succession of quiet auto repair shop on and off for decades. Many surrounding properties were purchased with the belief that the low-intensity auto repair use would continue into the future. The 2003 zoning map designation of R1 gave them some assurance that any possible higher intensity future use would require CPC approval hearing. It will be unfortunate if that protection is rescinded. It's easy to see that the increase in intensity of use, more customers, types of customers, loitering, would negatively affect scores of adjacent residents in this residential portion of Thurston Road. The intensity of use would be far beyond that of prior two-bay auto repair shop operated previously at this location. In harmony with 2034 comprehensive plan, the bakery deli concept is indeed in harmony. A convenience store selling products and paraphernalia used in the consumption of illegal drugs is questionable. The 2034 plan will require stronger inspection, compliance, and enforcement to mitigate negative issues. The applicant references that the 2034 comprehensive plan goal to restore businesses and vacant commercial structures, yet ironically, they chose to keep the building vacant for nearly 5 years after it was purchased in 2013. The applicant's request to sell tobacco and lottery products is based on 2 premises, neither of which were substantial in the application. It is claimed that the existing prepared food business cannot be profitable. 0 substantiating information was presented. No business plan, no revenue and expenses, no business tax return. Other nearby related prepared food businesses on Thurston Road are financially sustainable, even without convenience store items. Examples are Abby's Street Kitchen, Supreme Salad Bar, Super Wing, Mojo's Grill, People's Choice Kitchen. Bakery delis are successful in other commercial corridors. Ricardo's Bakery Deli, Calabresa's on Park Ave. Clearly, it's impossible for similar prepared food stores to be financially sustainable. It's claimed that sale of tobacco products are absolutely vital to maintain profitability. Again, there is no data presented to support this assertion. In reality, there are ample examples that similar prepared food businesses on Thurston Road and elsewhere are sustainable without tobacco. None of the Thurston Road examples listed above sell tobacco products. Both Ricardo's and Calabresa's sell convenience items, but no tobacco. It is incongruous that the application touts the sale of healthy food choices in so-called food desert, and yet promotes tobacco products long known to have fatal health consequences. It's similarly incongruous that much of the listed food products to be sold at the store are also unhealthy. Example, fried food, snacks, foods, sugared drinks. COVID-19 is blamed for diminished business performance. However, several Southwest takeout food businesses actually thrived during the pandemic. Phone ordering, online ordering, and delivery were employed to maintain output. The absence of tobacco sales at these businesses were never a factor. Successful, sustainable businesses in the 19th Ward have a clean, attractive exterior, a high level of window transparency, uncluttered by posters, compliant, attractive signage, organized product displays, a clean interior, especially in the kitchen. The front windows are free of bars and roll-ons, which send a negative message. The friends who signed supportive petition most likely did so out of compassion for the applicant. In every honest discussion we've ever had on the subject neighborhood, people would prefer a storefront stay vacant than rather another convenience store. In summary, our principal reason for requesting a denial is the increase in intensity of use that accompanies the addition of tobacco and lottery product sales in a convenience store format. Regardless of the hearing outcome, the CPC must insist that the applicant achieve all required conditions prior to the city issuing a C of O to open the business. Sincerely, John DeMont, on behalf of the 19th Ward Community Association. My mother is a librarian and she's going to be really annoyed that I stumbled over some of the larger words. Okay, next we have a letter from the Southwest Street Liaison. Oh wait, these are the attachments, pardon me. So I'm going to move, these were the attachments referenced in the note we just had. I'm going to move on to the next comment, public comment that we had. These are all currently available on the city website. They're at the end of the staff report. Okay. Here's our next public comment. I'm writing this letter on behalf of Home Leasing to strongly oppose 419 Thurston proposal requesting approval to add tobacco products, paraphernalia, and lottery. Over the past 3 years, we have worked hard to transform the nearby apartments at 447 Thurston Road, now known as the apartments at Thurston Village. Through the acquisition and rehabilitation of the property, had been among the most distressed buildings in the neighborhood, and now has been transformed into 48 quality affordable housing units, 20 of which are supportive housing with services provided by Spiritus Christi Prison Outreach. Through this project, working in partnership with the community, we have invested a considerable amount trying to improve the quality of life of our residents and the neighborhood. Among the challenges faced in the area have been substantial public safety issues, loitering, and litter. The proposal for 419 Thurston will increase the intensity of use and would negatively affect adjacent uses. Its current operations already negatively impact our properties and the community. This proposal would further undermine what is trying to be accomplished to improve Thurston Road and would be a detriment to our property and residents. It is also worth noting that there has been a long history of non-compliance with existing codes and standards at 419 Thurston, according to information gathered by the 19th Ward Community Association. Thank you for taking the time to hear our concerns. Hello, my name is Lakeisha Skinner, and I'm speaking on behalf of my whole family, Gary Wright, Fontella Wright, and I support the application for 419-427 Thurston Road, Thurston Express. I support their application. I live on 26 Rayburn Ave, and it would be very convenient for me and my family to be able to come to Thurston Express and be able to get everything I need, like tobacco, lotto, and groceries. Plus, they are very friendly and nice people, and they treat us all with respect, which is not common in this area because I don't have a car, and it's a short walk for us to be able to go and come back for what we need. Hello, my name is Chris Jones, and I wanted to say support the application for Thurston Express because we need them to sell tobacco, lotto, and other grocery and cleaning items. It would make it so much more convenient for a lot of people here in the neighborhood. Plus, they have the best parking spot in the area. Dear Planning Board, my name is McField, and I support Thurston Express application so they can start selling lotto and tobacco because they need it. The business is slow for them. I'm a regular customer, and they are only spot. They're the only spot that sells good, fresh food, and they give away free leftover food every night while everyone else is selling old food from last night. I support Thurston Express. I love the connection they have with our community. They are very convenient for my family to shop with great parking space. They are friendly and clean. My children love to go to the store. They sun free ice cream cones for the kids. I'm happy that there is a reliable store and the owners are very friendly. The store is perfectly located on my block. I can't wait till they get louder in the store and more food on the menu. Hello, my name is Cedric Gibbs. I live at 407 Thurston. And I support the Thurston Express because they need tobacco at their store, because I can walk to get my tobacco and groceries. It makes a lot of people's life easier. Plus, they have the best parking in the area and they have excellent customer service. Greetings all. My name is Paula Howard, a neighbor, business owner, and property owner of the property next to 419 Thurston Road. I, like most other residents, look forward to new businesses in our community that offer convenience and cater to our needs. Whether our block needs another mini mart to add to the existing four that are in two cases less than 100 feet from this proposed one is for you to decide. What I can tell you is that in the short period of 3 weeks that this entity operated as a mini mart, we experienced hanging out in the front of the store with up to 4 or 5 persons at a time. That ultimately crept into the side of our building, which prompted us to put up temporary fencing to prevent gathering in front of our store. The garbage pileup was inevitable with more traffic and longer stays in the parking lot, and the start of backyard fencing area becoming the outdoor urinal. The meetup and hangout in the parking lot was also accompanied with loud music, which continued until after 10 p.m., which was the hours the store began extending its business hours, not to mention that the residential living for children under 14 years old is in front and back of the store location. It was the children in the neighborhood that informed us that this store started selling smokes. I'm concerned with the new store designation and extended hours of an active mini mart parking lot, especially when every store parking lot on our street has a shooting and sadly with casualties. Dear Planning Board, hello, my name is Perletha Whitaker. I live at 416 Thurston Road. I'm writing to support Thurston Express at 419 Thurston Road because I don't have a car and my husband had to stop driving, so it makes it much easier for me and my family to just cross the street and get everything I need in one spot. Also, I have a bad leg and a bad back since I was involved in a car accident, so the approval of their application would help me a lot and many other people in the neighborhood. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a good day. Hello, my name is Charisse. I live at 164 Genesee Street. I want to let you guys know that I support Thurston Express. They are by far one of the cleanest stores in the city and way cleaner than the stores nearby. Plus, they give out free soft serve ice cream every Sunday to my kids and people in the neighborhood. Lastly, their customer service is the best one in the area, as well as all they need is tobacco in their store. Thank you and have a good day. Hello, my name is Jeremiah Manning, and I live in the apartment building across the street, and Thurston Express is by far the store with the best food, and also it's the cleanest store in the neighborhood. I always see the owners cleaning store inside and out. It's much easier for us in the apartment building to come here and get what we need because we have a lot of elder citizens that can't walk too far, and Smart 7 has no kitchen and no lotto. Thurston Express is the closest store with a kitchen since the corner store at Anthony is closed. Everyone hangs out at a Smart 7. It's a benefit if they get tobacco and lotto and more groceries. I hope you have a good day. And that was the last one.
Okay, that being said, the applicant has an opportunity to rebut. You have up to 5 minutes to respond, if you choose.
Yes, thank you. First, I just wanted to point out the positive comments and outline some of the community relations that Ms. Beebe has undertaken. Like they said, she gives out free coffee, free ice cream. She tries to invite members of the community in, and she gets to know them on a personal level because it's usually her husband, or her son staffing the store. So they are there every day interacting with the community members. And they also do give any leftover food away at the end of each day instead of throwing it out or instead of reselling it the next day. And then in response to some of the opposition, I think the loitering and the littering had a lot to do, it sounds like, in the time period that the tenant was in control of the property. And that's also when the hours were extended past the allowed hours. And I think this application today would remedy a lot of those issues because of the earlier closing time. Ms. Beebe does not want to be a neighborhood destination for loitering and negative activity. She wants to remain open only during earlier business hours and draw in clients who are shopping for groceries, items for their dinner, etc. She does not want to be a late night hangout spot. And that's why she suggested the 9 p.m. close time. And then I think also the assumption that other businesses are able to be profitable as just a bakery deli or a bakery deli with convenience items. There's just a lot that we cannot compare. We don't know any of the financials of any of those businesses. And I think it's not exactly right to compare the businesses and to put that sort of burden on Ms. Beebe, because she has testified today under, and she's just said that the financial issues, it's not possible to overcome them at that particular location. And then I also wanted to point out that at least one of the other mini marts in the area that was referenced in one of the comments has closed during, I believe, the COVID time period. So there is no longer, I would say, an abundance of mini marts in the area. And I do think this convenience store would add to the neighborhood. And as I pointed out earlier, Ms. Beebe will be selling fresh produce, which is something a lot of convenience stores do not do, which would allow some of the people in the neighborhood who might not have cars or who maybe can't travel far to obtain fresh produce on a daily basis. Ms. Beebe, do you have any other comments that you want to tell the commission?
Yes, I do have a, Ms. Paula's comments. I will say 50% her customer park in our parking lot to goes to her place to shop, and they threw garbage. We all clean. We never complain. And the fence she talking about, we are the one who installed the fence, and we ask her like where you want us to install. So we don't want to, because she's our next door neighbor. So she was okay, like when we were installing the fence, and the time we never passed 9 o'clock. Last month we were even closing at 8 o'clock. This month it never even passed like 5 or 10 minutes max if it's ever happened, but never, I will say. Even I have one incident report last, and I believe alarm company, and I was also contacting with them too if they can provide me for the whole details, the opening and closing time. So they were not able to give me that, but they did give me that. One incident happened, like there was a balloon in the there was a table with the balloon, and we put it inside the time we closed, and the alarm beep right around 9:20 something. So police came, and we told them when they call us by 9:20, we say we will take it like 20 minutes to get here, because we live a little far away from store. So even that is the proof, like we never open late. We never pass 9 o'clock. And we like to, do best business, and we like to, be good to neighborhood. That's all.
Anything else, Ms. Spencer?
No, I believe that's it. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any other comments or concerns from the commission? If not, we will close this case, and may we have the next case, please? Thank you, Ms. Spencer. Thank you, Ms. Beebe.
Thank you, commissioners.
Case number 7,
There's,
file number.
this is Matt. There's public comment for case number.
Oh, thank you, Matt. My bad. I should have done that way sooner. Okay, so I can't quite see the name. Tanita, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Great. So our chairperson will swear you in. The name is Tanita Epps.
Okay, I will swear you in. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And give us your full name for the record, please.
My name is Tanita Epps, and I live across the street at 430 from Thurston Express. And I think it would be a very profitable for Miss BB and her family to get the be able to sell the tobacco and lotto. They're the only store around here. They always keep their store very clean, inside and out. When they come in the morning, they're outside cleaning. Before they go home, they're outside cleaning. As far as anybody hanging around their store and even next door to Miss Paula's store, we don't see that. I don't see that. I don't see, the crowds. Yeah, there may be a car or two that'll come pull in the drive in the parking lot that will be blasting their music, in their car. But as far as, the loitering and all that around her business, not at all. They're very nice people. They give back to the community for no reason at all. They just give back to to us, and they're very sweet people.
All right, anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right, well, thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anyone else, Adam?
Nope, that looks like it.
Okay, now we can close this case and we'll have the next case, please. Thank you so much.
Case number 7, file number E31-2021, address 775 Culver Road. The applicant is Marquise Tisdale of the Office Bar and Grill. The request is to consider an alternative parking plan for 206 spaces to serve the proposed bar and restaurant with outdoor seating, proposed public entertainment, and proposed amusement center, and to establish an amusement center in conjunction with the proposed uses. Actions requiring City Planning Commission approval. This is a special permit. Commissioner Williams, do you mind letting us know whether or not you visited the site?
Yes, I did.
Great, thanks. So in that case, all present commissioners have visited the site, and we have 2 people with us
Anna?
tonight.
Sorry, this is Steve Rebholz. Before you introduce the presenters, I need to recuse myself. Commissioner Rebholz, I work at SWBR Architects, and they are involved with this application. So I'll be recusing myself, and I'll look out for when this case is over and the next case begins.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, I'll email you, Steve.
Okay, thanks.
You can go ahead, Anna.
Yep, so we have Randall Sickler and Marquise Tisdale.
Yeah, Randall or Marquise, are you both there? Marquise, Randall, are you both there?
Randall,
Sorry, I
you
was
are-
muted. This is Randall Sickler. I'm here.
And Marquise?
Looks like he's muted. Oh, there we go.
Yes, how you doing? My name is Marquise Tisdale.
Okay, I will swear both of you in, and then once I do the swearing in, give us your full name and respond to the swearing in. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And give us your full name for the record.
Marquise Tisdale.
Thank you.
Randall Sickler.
Thank you, Randall. And you may proceed, gentlemen.
Okay. I believe the 2 items that are on the docket tonight are establish an alternative parking plan, the proposed business, and the other is to establish use for a bar and grill with proposed public entertainment and with a amusement center. Do you want me to go through the background information on this or?
Just tell us what you want us to know about the application.
Okay. This is the upstairs of the former Lorraine's building on Culver Road. The first floor has 2 or 3 existing businesses. The second floor has been vacant and is accessible from the rear or west side of the building, which is adjacent to parking lots, which Mr. Tisdale has established a relationship with the business owner there and has permission to use, written permission to use those spaces in the evening. The proposed use of the facility is a bar and grill. The grill side does not have a commercial kitchen with hoods. It is more salads and warming oven, that type of thing, not a open flame use. The other amenities of the business are a number of video and skill games, including a basketball shooting game, video darts, several video dart boards, 2 pool tables, and there is a DJ booth, but the area is set up with tables and chairs and a bar with stools. And there's also an outdoor wood deck that is at the main entrance to the building and serves as the access to the primary entrance. The parking is being met by the small number of spaces that the property has, which is about 13 spaces. The balance of it is being achieved through a combination of the use permit from the neighboring lot, on-street parking. This is a residential neighborhood in the vicinity around this, so there's bike and pedestrian traffic, and there's also within 300 feet a RTS bus stop near the intersection of Main and Culver on East Main Street. So I guess that's about as good a summary as I can give you. I can answer any specifics if you have other questions beyond that.
Okay, I guess the question that I have right off the bat, you said that on the first floor, there are current businesses already?
Yes, the second floor space, the business space, is not connected to them in any way physically. It can only be accessed from a fire escape on the south side of the building or the main entrance at the west side. The existing businesses are the Sweet Pea plant-based foods kitchen business, and there is a hydroponics supply business on the first floor as well for mostly gardening oriented hydroponics.
What are the hours of operations for those first floor businesses?
I honestly say I don't know for sure. The hydroponics business, I believe, is closed by 6. I don't know if the kitchen space operates at night or not. They don't do deliveries at night, though.
And I guess in addition to that, do they take up some of those 13 parking spots that are there available for that location?
There is one spot that is not marked as a parking space that they typically park their delivery van in, but other than that, I have not seen vehicles left there at night.
Well, but I mean during the day when they're working.
During the day, yes, they are used. I don't believe Mr. Tisdale intends to operate his business during the day, though.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for the applicant?
I do, Dave.
Yes, go right ahead, Brad.
Can you reflect a little bit on, I'm just looking again over the summary request, and I know there's proposed bar restaurant, proposed public entertainment, proposed amusement center. And so these are, the fact that they're proposed makes it feel as though they're in process for applications. Can you just let us know, reflect a little bit further where you are in that process? What type of licensing you're getting? Is there an entertainment license on the space? You had also said, and not to compile too many questions here, but You'd also said that he has written approval to be in this space. Is there an actual lease? And does that lease also denote that it can be used for the sale of alcohol and all that good stuff?
Yes. So yes, I have a 10-year lease here, and actually, downstairs when Lorraine had it as a restaurant. She did have liquor license here years ago. So before I even, pursued on doing anything here, of course, I seen that it was for rent. So I reached out to her. I went downtown to City Hall to make sure that it is zoned for liquor license and everything like that. So I did, do what I, the right footsteps before I even, pursued on even doing something here.
Great.
Yeah, the written permission I referred to, Commissioner, was for the parking, for the use of the parking spaces adjacent to the building.
Say it again.
I was telling Commissioner Flower that the written permission that you have, the letter you have, is for the use of the parking adjacent to the immediate west of the building.
Thank you for the clarification on that. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem.
On another thing, so the hydroponics store and the Sweet Pea plant-based food, they are open during the day, but Sweet Pea, I think they just more typically during the week, just like prepare the meals and stuff like that. But I know that they don't, I never really see too much customers here, and I'm usually here all the time during the day until late at night. So I never really see too many customers or anything come here. And for the hydroponic store, maybe give or take, you might get 2 or 3 customers that comes in, but usually when they come, it's always, for 5 or 10 minutes. There's nothing too long where, they have cars there just permanently all the time.
Any other questions for the applicant? Yes, go ahead, Richard.
Hi. I'm regarding the parking. Those lots that you had that one letter of agreement, then there's the other one, which is which address is that on Culver Road, on Main Street there. Both of those are inaccessible to you because they've got buses around them. So they don't look to be particularly convenient. Can you talk about that?
Well, actually, on the entrance of my parking lot, up my steps, right on the left-hand side is a gate that has an opening. So if I was to be approved with everything, I already had talked with them about I was going to move the gate that's right here. I got 2 swinging doors that open from my gate that actually leads to their parking lot. So if everything was to go through, the only thing I would have to do is just open my gate and add some steps down here at the bottom, and that's it. But, like I said, that was already talked about with me and the other guys from the other building. So I just had to wait to see if I get approved before I can take any extra steps.
Yeah. I think we need to clarify for the record here that the only property being looked to for additional off-street parking is at 1607 Main Street, which is not the property next door behind you, but two doors down. And that is the only one that we have parking permission for. And so
that is the only
one that's being relied on.
That's the only one that I have the written paper, but I actually speak with Matt, the CEO of the Habitat, and he also gave me permission to use his parking if I needed it, but he just felt that if there was no need to put a letter or anything because during my hours of operation, he's closed.
Hi, Marquise, it's Anna. I'm just going to step in. We can only entertain when there's like a executed shared parking agreement. So for the purposes of this application, we'll only be considering the one you have for this lot, 1607-1609 East Main Street, just since this is the only one where we have that written document between you and the operator there.
Understand.
And the other question I had is something I guess I need some explaining on, which was a letter that the Community Affairs Bureau of the Southeast Neighborhood Service Center sent, indicating that there's no signed lease between you and your property owner. And yet you say you've got a 10-year lease there, but according to the city there is no current lease agreement between you and Lorraine Serpy.
Well, to get all of my paperwork to get to this step, Lorraine had to sign off on pretty much all my papers, and I sent everything over to Anna to get to this next step. So I don't know how.
Yeah, I that is not necessary because he's not going to be able to go in there without the lease. And unlike the parking agreement, it's not something that we need to see to allow him to go forward with this application.
Yeah, I can confirm that the property owner signed off on the application for the special permit request.
But like we don't take, just like not having the parking agreement for the next door property, regardless, we wouldn't be just relying on the property owner if a lease was required. We don't require it for this kind of application.
Okay, so what you're saying is that if he can get all these approvals, then he would get the lease signed.
Yeah, he'll have to, or else he's
Okay.
not going to be able
Right.
to go forward with these things. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions for the applicant?
Yeah, I would just request that, Marquise, can you affirm whether or not a sign was posted on the premises in anticipation of
Yes.
this hearing?
So I actually remember, well, you told me I can go pick up one sign, but I asked you, can I pick up two signs? So I actually posted one sign right in front of the hydroponic store. And then I have put another sign on the Morton side, right before you get up the driveway on the right-hand side. It's a fence there. And I drilled 4 screws in there to make sure that sign didn't blow away. And what I did was I took pictures of when I put it up there, because if I take the pictures on my phone, it's going to show the date that it was there. So the sign is actually still there.
Thank you.
I can
When did you
confirm that. I
post
drove
it?
by it today.
When were the signs posted?
Well, I posted the sign the exact day when Anna gave me the okay to go down there to pick up the signs. I posted them. And then she emailed me, I want to say last Wednesday, and said that someone told her that they might have not seen it. So I went down there and got another sign, and I drilled that one inside of the Morton side.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions for the applicant? All right, hearing none. Anna, do we have any comments?
Yes, we have both verbal and written comment. I guess we'll start with the verbal.
Okay.
So we have representatives from adjacent neighborhoods here. So we just have to give them a promotion. The North Winton Village representative, you can speak. This chair just has to swear you in first.
Okay, Mary, let me swear you in. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Oh, you're on mute.
Okay, North Winton Village is one side of Culver, and Emma is the other side of Culver. And we have worked quite a while with Emma and Dorothy Parham to try to upgrade the quality of life in that neighborhood, and it's it's sad. So this, from what we had heard from reports from people, that it was not a good establishment, and that they were running and they were having liquor without a liquor license, and they were having entertainment without an entertainment license, and it was just not good. And I called the police and asked if they could help us out. Were there any police reports? And apparently, too, there were nuisance points put on this establishment, which is lingering in our legal department. I don't begrudge anybody a business, but we have to make sure our citizens in Rochester have a good quality of life. And with that area, if you go down and look at their businesses, they need businesses in their area, and they need good businesses. And if this is running and it is not good, nobody's going to come in down there. And also, it's right across from our East High School, which is in North Winton Village, and they have night activities, and the cars are parked up and down there too. And we worked hard, and we're thrilled to death with Sean Nouns and the University of Rochester for turning that school around, and we don't want anything to jeopardize that. That's wonderful. So we have a lot of concerns about the activities that's been going on down there, the lack of respect for law and order, and following things according to right rules. So we, at this point, would not like to see this establishment. I thank you. Marilyn Schutte from North Winton Village is here too, and Dorothy Parham to speak.
All right, I will swear both of them in. Are they there?
Well, she has to bring them in. Oh, no, they're
okay.
not here. They're at
okay, they're not with you. I thought they were with you.
No.
Okay, well, thank you, Mary, and we'll wait until Anna gets them on.
And this area, unfortunately, the crime has gone up. There were people there, and it wasn't Dorothy and it wasn't Emma, to take that police station down. And people have the impression that nobody cares, and we all care, and Emma cares. And Emma worked hand in hand in community policing. They had that side of East Main. She had it wonderful. So let's help those that all our citizens to have a good quality of life. It's imperative.
Thank you, Mary. Anna?
Yeah, it looks like Marilyn, if you just want to unmute yourself.
I think.
Oh, there we go.
It's unmuted?
Yep, you're good. We can hear you.
Oh, good. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Marilyn, let me swear you in. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right. Give us your full name, please.
Marilyn Schutte.
All right, you may proceed.
Well, Mary pretty well summed up the situation in the neighborhood. And we have worked very hard to get a good quality of life in this neighborhood. And we certainly hope that the Emma neighborhood, the Beechwood neighborhood could improve also. I'll say, when I see that a business that we've already had issues with, it was some time ago, I had a call, a neighbor was so upset. He'd gone down Culver Road at 10 o'clock. He could not believe the noise and the commotion. So of course, immediately he calls the police. So how many police reports are present? I cannot really tell you, but this is something that we've already experienced. And my concern is you're talking about 206 parking spaces. Do you realize that this applicant must be thinking and dreaming of huge, huge crowds? I mean, you multiply that, we're talking about 412 people coming to this establishment. I mean, how can that be controllable? I'm just very concerned about this intensity of parking and, you know, just how people would behave. You're talking about drinking, who knows what else goes on. So I do not think it is a good idea to allow all of this parking to intensify a business that couldn't possibly not be controlled. The buyer or the applicant may have all kinds of great ideas how he can control it, but I mean, people are not always controllable. So it sounds like it's too intense of a business, too much parking. Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn.
And so Marilyn Parchis, if you're on your phone, just press *6 and unmute yourself. Is Marilyn Parchis commenting tonight as well?
Yes.
Oh, she's not. Okay, never mind then.
No, she is.
Oh.
She's trying to get in, I believe. She's in a meeting, but she's speaking for Hazelwood Court, another area in North Winton Village.
Okay, this is her time to speak, so she can press *6 on her phone to unmute herself, and then she can give her testimony here now.
Should I call her and tell her that?
If she's listening, hopefully we can.
Well, she did send a letter in, I know.
Okay, we'll give her a few more seconds here. Oh, here we go. Marilyn? Nope, you got it. You unmuted yourself. Try one more time. One more time, *6, Marilyn. There you go. We can hear. You can speak now.
Okay, my name is Marilyn Parchis. I am the treasurer at North Winton Village Neighborhood Association. I'm the president of the Hazelton Court Homeowners Association also.
Okay, Marilyn,
And I sent an email.
Marilyn?
Yeah.
Let me swear you in before you continue.
Okay.
All right. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes. Okay, proceed.
Okay, my comments about it's 775 Culver Road is that I do think it would be a detriment to the community and to the neighborhood because the people that are running it just seem to not be very community minded or care about beautification or safety and peace of mind to neighborhoods. There's 3 neighborhood associations that are very concerned about this location. And we want to keep our neighborhood safe and crime free. So that's my comment. I hope that they don't approve the application.
All right, thank you so much. Anna, do we have anybody else?
That was all the spoken, and now I'll go quickly through the written comment that was received after the publication of the staff report.
Okay.
So all public comment, written public comment is attached to the staff report, which is posted online for
What are you
everyone.
looking for? All the signs that Al did?
Please accept this email course. This is from Lieutenant Robert Wilson of the Rochester Police Department, North Goodman Street section. Please accept this email correspondence as indication that the Rochester Police Department is against any zoning variance that would require less than the established number of designated parking spaces for this proposed nightclub lounge restaurant. 775 Culver Road first came on our radar for hosting large parties in December 2020. On December 31st, Rochester Fire Department responded to 775 Culver for a fire caused by a pinch gas line that led to a still fire. At the time the fire occurred, there was an illegal New Year's Eve party inside the location. The building did not have an adequate fire suppression system as required by code. Goodman Section Sergeant Webster commented in an email marked 1/10/21. This location had yet another 200-person party with dozens of cars parked in the adjacent school lot, Domino's Pizza, and other adjacent businesses and streets. This location currently does not have a liquor license despite claims by the bar owner. Officer Minnick from the License Investigation Unit explained that the license process to the bar owner at this time. This location does not currently have a certificate of occupancy, an entertainment license, an amusement license, no permit for the deck built on the rear of this location, and no permit for the internal remodeling already completed. Officer Minnick had further conversation regarding laws restrictions he needed to comply with. They are as follows: ABC law violation, illegal sale of alcohol, code pertaining to entertainment, code pertaining to amusement, public health law regarding hookah usage, lack of certificate of occupancy, and then some COVID restrictions based on government executive orders. On 1/17/21, RPD officers responded to this location for another party. During this encounter with Mr. Tisdale, he closed a metal garage door that blocked an entrance exit, which obstructed the sergeant's view inside the location. This also blocked an entrance exit for people inside should they need to leave due to a fire. This is in violation of the fire code. The portion of his address that Mr. Tisdale operates has an alarm on the premise with no permit through the city of Rochester. Rochester Fire Department Captain Cuppinger wrote Mr. Tisdale a municipal code ticket for unlawful structure based off Officer Jordan's police report. The Southeast Neighborhood Service Center administrator hand-delivered the cease and desist letter written by the city's law department. Mr. Tisdale, who opened the letter and disputed some facts, agreed with Mr. Knight that he hadn't followed the business permit process and agreed to not have any more gatherings at this Culver Road address. Nuisance point packages, no amusement license and no entertainment, no amusement license, no entertainment license, serving alcohol without a liquor license, no amusement license, no entertainment license, and unlawful. No amusement license, no entertainment license, serving alcohol without a liquor license, an unlawful structure, no amusement license, and unlawful structure. The RPD is aware of social media posts advertising parties at this location, and recently a post was made about the grand opening coming soon. There is no signed lease between the property owner and the bar owner. The property owner has contacted a lawyer and is seeking to evict Mr. Tisdale from this location. In summary, this location does not have enough parking spots to support a business such as this without severely interfering with other businesses and residential properties in this area, including a Rochester City School District building. The remaining bullet points outline Mr. Tisdale has made no attempt over the past several months to follow city and state laws and regulations as they pertain to his proposed business, despite several conversations trying to explain this process to him. Furthermore, Mr. Tisdale has proceeded to host events at this proposed bar, lounge, restaurant space, knowing full well that he was going against these same laws and regulations. When confronted with his actions during these events, Mr. Tisdale had been confrontational with police on scene and has refused to fully cooperate. This is from NEMNO. Northeast Maine Neighbors United is strongly against permitting any zoning approvals to 775 Culver Road. We are in the understanding that they have already been cited for violations, which lead us to believe that they will also not follow city rules and ordinances in the future. The area that they want to put an entertainment facility and nightclub is a stone's throw to multiple homes. Homeowners are very concerned about loud noise into the night, illegally parked vehicles on our streets, impaired drivers leaving the facility, and trash and potential drug activity and fighting. We have worked very hard to enhance our neighborhood over the last decade to be one of the hottest neighborhoods in the country. We are not going to allow businesses that is not appropriate to fit the neighborhood to destroy that. This is not an appropriate place to open a business like this, being so close to homes and right across from a high school where children should not be subjected to during after-school activities. We believe there are many other areas that are more commercial or downtown where this may be more appropriate. That is, of course, after the developer clears up violations and proves that they are a responsible business owner. NEMNU is in favor of proper economic development, but not development that hinders quality of life in the neighborhood, potential safety concerns, and allowing developers that have already proved that they're not prepared to run a sound business. This individual did not approach the neighborhood with any plans before submitting plans to the city. We ask that you deny all zoning permits. This one is from Sam DeJesus. I'm writing to request that no zoning be approved for 775 Culver Road. Putting a bar club in front of a high school is not a good idea, and I am surprised that it is even being considered. We have already had issues with noise, fights outside coming from Club Soda on the corner of East Main and Hall Street. Lots have been done to make our neighborhood desirable, and approving zoning for 775 Culver Road would be a huge step back. Please consider the residents of the neighborhood and most of all the children. This next one is from the North Village Neighborhood Association. They just provided their spoken comment, so they were able to recite this verbally just now, and that's all we have.
Okay, the applicant has an opportunity to provide any additional information if you wish.
Yes, how you doing? So, yes, I did have a party here that I wasn't supposed to have, but I didn't know that the crowd was gonna get like that, honestly. It was more or less for me and my family. And I don't do social media or Facebook, and the crowd just got to the point where it was just too many people here. But I never had no fights. I never had no gunshots. I never had anything. So when the sergeant came here that night, he gave the okay to stay open and do what I was doing because I never had no incident here. The only tickets that they ever wrote me here is for games. And the tickets that they wrote for the games was when I was here, me, my brother, and my dad was working. The police was just coming, stopping random times of the night, and my little brother was playing on the arcade. They never seen no customers or they never seen anything. Then they say something about liquor. They never gave me any tickets about serving liquor or nothing. The fire chief came down here 2 times. Both times the fire chief came down here, RPD wanted him to cite me tickets, and the sergeant from the lieutenant from the fire department wouldn't give me no tickets. He only gave me the ticket the 1 time because it was over 50 people here. Other than that, he said this was a space that I was renting, so it was like my home. So if we was inside drinking or using hookah, was like we was in a garage. I never had no confrontations with the police. I never was arrested. Anytime they came here, I always welcomed them to walk through my establishment. That's how they knew exactly what was going on, because I welcomed them inside of there. So I never had no points or anything far as fighting, shooting, noise, or anything like that. Every ticket that they gave me was for arcade, and that was 3 tickets. I never had no serious tickets, and that was because I didn't have the arcades registered, but to my understanding, because the arcades was mine, I didn't think I had to register the arcades. But coming to find out, I did have to. So ever since they walked me through the entertainment officer, I haven't been having no issues. Everything that they wanted me to do, I have done. So that's how I end up even able to get to the step that I am right now. And far as me trying to open something that's near East High School, actually, it's a bar on every corner over here. It's a bar on every corner. And my establishment is the only establishment that the school can't even see. And that's all I have to say.
I would add a couple of things. Mr. Tisdale has had a legally designed and installed sprinkler system put into the business recently. The 206 parking spots comes from the requirement that comes from the use, is generated by the use or projected use for the building. The actual legal occupancy of the space is only 240, so there won't be 400 plus people would not be allowed.
Right, anything else, gentlemen?
And another thing, just because an establishment got a capacity of 200 or 300, I might not get a person in here. I might only get 2 or 3 people. So I don't know why they trying to pretty much judge on what they think my capacity could be, because who knows? I might not even be successful. I might not get no customers where I have to close my doors.
All right, thank you, sir. Anna, any other comments that we haven't read?
Mary, you had Northwind, the public comment component is closed. That was the applicant's opportunity to rebut comment, but public comment is closed.
All right, that being said, we will close this case and we will have the next case, please.
Case number 8, this is a special permit. The file is E32-2021. The addresses are 57 to 59, 71, 77.
Wait, hold. I gotta get Steve back.
Oh.
Okay. Yep. You forgot old Steve.
Where is he, sure? I've got his.
How could I forget?
He's out of sight, out of mind.
Never. Okay, he's here.
Okay.
Steve, you have a lot of people on this board looking out for you, because I was ready to blow past it. Okay, so this is case number 8. The file number is E32-2021. The addresses are 57 to 59, 71, 77, 81, and 87 Anderson Avenue. The applicant is Krista Raposa of the Lucky Flea, and the request is to establish an outdoor market, a public and semi-public use, on the parking lot at the subject properties from 10 to 3 on Sundays from June 11 to July 11 to July 25. This is an action requiring City Planning Commission approval. Commissioner Williams, were you able to visit the site?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So all present commissioners have visited the site, and we have one person present to testify.
Okay, and who is that?
Mr. Chris Raposa.
Hello.
Okay. Mr. Raposa, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, let me swear you in. I will swear you in and then respond with your full name and then how you're responding to the oath, and then we'll let you proceed. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, and Christopher Raposa.
All right, Christopher, thank you so much. You may proceed, sir.
Yeah, so we have started a vintage-centric flea market over in the neighborhood of the arts, right adjacent to the Anderson Arts Building. It goes from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. every Sunday. And actually, we've had a cool situation where we've been able to do 3 of them so far. So we've been able to like test it and see how it's been going. It is 62 total vendors.
I'm going to cut you off real quick because I see a furrowed brow from Commissioner Flower. So they have a current temporary certificate of zoning compliance, meaning like, okay.
Sorry, I'm probably sounding.
No. I didn't want to get them.
No,
Sorry,
we have a denied.
I'm collapsing windows so I can see all of the letters. It's just it's messing with my screen.
My apologies. Yes.
No. You don't have to apologize. I just want to state for the record that there is a legal permit for temporary use to have like a temporary outdoor market. They're looking to extend that, hence this special permit. Sorry for interrupting, Chris. I'll let you proceed.
No worries at all. Yes, so we have that denied certificate of zoning for the first 5 weekends. We had just finished weekend 3. But to go back to the recap, we have 62 total vendors ranging from vintage clothing, vintage housewares, some handmade clothing, just random knickknacks, each one taking up about a 10 by 10 booth, with a little bit of spacing in between. We have a couple food vendors, including Fuego Coffee, Kapucha, Bula's Greek Sweets, a lot of great local staples. The market runs from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. every Sunday. Setup starts at around, the earliest would be 7 a.m. Most vendors arrive around 8, and then cleanup takes about an hour to an hour and a half. So we end up at like 4:30, the lot's empty. We've had a pretty awesome turnout so far. It's been a great reception. I think a lot of people have been really ready to get out and do some stuff. And with mask mandates coming down and it being an open air outdoor market, the reception's been great so far. We have done a lot of, this has been planning since about January. We've done a lot of outreach with the community, reaching out to neighbors, local areas, landlords, making sure everyone knows what's going on. We dropped off postcards in every single house on the 4 blocks that surround the area. I think it's Carlson, Beacon, Merriman, and one other block I can't remember. We dropped off a little postcards to say like what we're doing in every single house about a month before the event started, so people could know that this was happening. We also have posted no parking signs because we don't want to tow anyone. We don't want to be mean. So we have no parking signs that are posted in the lot 24/7 that say like, hey, just a heads up, the Lucky Flea is popping up here. Please, no overnight parking Saturday night till Sunday at 4 p.m. And that was figured out with the landlords. We don't want to make anyone mad who's possibly leaving their car there after hanging out at Good Luck and maybe don't want to drive home, which is the responsible thing to do. Overall, we had a great crowd. We've had no issues. The police have not been called at all. We haven't had any fights. We don't serve alcohol, so that's a great thing. There's no issue with people getting too rowdy. And we also have had no issues with people like littering or disturbing the surrounding area either. And I think that's all of my whole spiel.
All right. Anything else?
Just that we're looking to extend it into July.
All right. Any questions for the applicant? Any questions? Chris, about how many people do you think you've had over the last 3 weeks?
Hard to say. It's hard because people come in waves. We got a lot of people that come. We've had like a line every single morning. We open at 10 a.m. and we strictly are like, hey, nobody's allowed on the lot while people are setting up. We kind of want it to build a little bit of hype, but also for liability reasons. We don't want people there while vendors are popping up their tents. We want to give them time to fully set up. We've had a line of about like 50 people every time we open. And I'd say like constantly there's a couple hundred people on the lots.
Okay, so this general idea, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions for the applicant?
Yeah, I had
Yes,
one, Dave.
Brad?
Chris, I appreciate you reflecting a little bit on the outreach that you made to the community and the surrounding neighbors. Can you reflect a little bit, what's the feedback you've been getting from the neighbors in the area?
Yes, totally. We will be looking at one of the complaints that we've had, at least by a nice neighbor that I've actually gotten to meet since the complaint's been filed. I don't want to jump ahead, Anna, if that's not okay to talk about right now. Is it okay?
Okay.
Okay, cool. So the complaint they were having was their property touches, it pretty much just kisses where the lot ends. So their issue was they had a vendor unloading in their driveway at one point on the first weekend, and they also had people that were patrons walking across their land. So they sent out a complaint. And obviously we want to be like as nice as we can to these neighbors. We know it's not completely ideal to have a new festival, or it's not a festival, a new market in your backyard. So once I got that complaint from Anna, the last weekend, actually this just Sunday, I was breaking down, just going around picking up the trash. And I got to meet Adam and talk to him and just be like, hey, we set up some metal barricades on their side of the driveway to cut that off so nobody can cut through their property. And we actually hired a staff member to work the entire day, and their only job was to hang out in that area where the property turns into the surrounding neighbors area and say like, nobody can hang out here. And then also to make sure there weren't cars parking on the wrong side of the street. Because that was another one of their big concerns, was that it was hard to get through because cars were parked on the wrong side illegally. So every time someone would park, we'd reach out to them, especially our vendors, and be like, hey, you can't move here. It's a worry about ambulances getting through if there's an emergency, and especially just the neighbors being to access their land easy.
All right, any other questions for the applicant? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Anna, any comments that we've had?
Yes, we have two persons signed up to speak, one of which submitted comment that was after the staff report was published. So rather than read their comment, I'll have it come straight from the horse's mouth.
Okay.
So Adam, when you're ready, you can unmute yourself, and the chair will swear you in.
Okay.
Adam, this is Dave. I will swear you in. Give us your full name. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Adam Phillips.
Thank you, Adam. You may proceed, sir.
Okay, so my name is Adam Phillips, and I live at 65 Beacon Street, which is the adjacent property to the application. First, I'd like to take the time to thank the commissioners for taking the time to hear my comments and testimony. Did everyone get a chance to read over my submission? Okay, yeah, and on that, I apologize, it was not better written. It was my rough draft and I ran out of time. So I think I submitted at 5 p.m. on the dot. So, so the special permit application said that the proposed application will not have a substantial or undue adverse effect upon adjacent property, traffic conditions, parking, etc. It's being held on an open property line. There's no setback. I mean, there are people butted up that they're basically almost standing in my driveway. Some of them are, and I wanted to differentiate that in my letter I submitted. I said that there was no barrier. I meant there's no solid barrier or fencing spanning the property line. I put some railroad ties down, so there are those. And then also it says that the application shall be constructed, arranged, and operate so as to not dominate the immediate vicinity. As far as both of those, that it won't have a substantial or adverse undue effect, and it won't dominate. I can hear music and crowd noise throughout my house while the event's going on. Surrounding the lot 5759, are 6 single-family homes. According to the Census Bureau in Rochester, there are an average of 2.29 people per household. So you're looking at like 14 people that live around the lot, and this substantially increases the number of people in the neighborhood. As far as in my letter, I said that Carlton Street was almost impassable because there are cars on both sides. I know that Chris tried really hard yesterday, but it still wound up that by morning's end, there were still cars lining both sides of the road. And for the cars unloading, it was not a single car that unloaded in my driveway. There have been several, at least 2 trucks have driven over my lawn, people in and out, groups hanging out in my front yard, even though I was out front doing yard work. And as Chris said, like we did speak yesterday, I really like the idea of the flea market. I think Chris is doing everything he possibly can to help out to make this work. I like Chris. I think he's really trying to do the right thing here. I just think that in this residential area with this kind of crowd, that it's just not the place for it. That I think that if it was the parking lot where New Village Gate is, or behind Three Heads, or by Old Pueblo Grill, or the public market, I mean, I feel like there are a lot of areas that this would be much better suited. And in addition to my comments, I prepared a little something visual that was too late to submit. But I mean, it's like, I look out my window and 10 feet out, if that, outside of my window are tense people, crowds. That's not really what we'd anticipated when we bought the house. So that's all I have.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Anna, do we have somebody else you said?
Yes, we have Michelle. Michelle, if you want to mute yourself.
Hello.
Well, Michelle, let me swear you in.
Okay.
And then give us your full name. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Michelle LLB.
Thank you, Michelle. You may proceed.
I agree with Adam. I am Michelle, and I live at 35 Beacon. I am midpoint, and I do not have off-street parking. So I have on-street parking. And when I'm out back enjoying my yard, it is a lot more noise and a lot more chaos, and it sets the dog off. And I don't have anywhere to park unless I want to park illegally with everybody else. I think I've lived in the NODA for, 23 or 24 years now. And I think that the Lucky Flea is a great idea. I think that extending the permit, though, I'm opposed to that. I think that the time that it's allotted to run on the temporary is plenty fine. And like Adam said, there are plenty of other places that would probably love to have the Lucky Flea, like especially the public market, who does things like the food truck rodeos and stuff. Down by Three Heads, you've got the open lot there, and one right across the street. I don't know who owns that. There's a huge empty lot there. I just notice a lot more foot traffic, and yeah, you guys pick up the garbage, but there's more garbage left behind for the Beacon Street folks. I mean, then now we've got the Lucky Flea that we struggle with noise and stuff and parking in the morning, and then the bar at the other end that kicks up that does the same thing. It's very chaotic on a Sunday, and it robs us of our quiet enjoyment. It's a very short one way. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
Anna, anyone else?
Nope, that's it. And that also covered our written comment.
Okay, and again, Chris, you have an opportunity to rebut or provide any additional information if you wish.
First and foremost, I just wanted to thank the vendor or the neighbors for coming on, because I appreciate people's feedback, and we wanted to make sure this event was received well with the neighbors. I totally understand the concerns of it changing up the Sundays and the dynamic. I will say, when it comes to Adam's concern about issues that came with the vendors parking on his spots and the driveway, after the first weekend that did happen, and we did observe that. We immediately after sent out a pretty lengthy email to our vendors being like, just please respect our neighbors. Like, this is obviously not the most perfect stage for this flea market, but while it is here, we need to make sure that we are as courteous as we can be. The last weekend has been pretty solid with people not going on other properties much. I'm sure there's still some issues. We did put up metal barricades, a couple of them by Adam's driveway, because there was a main issue with, like, it's a corner area, so people were kind of cutting through to get to the vendors because it was a little bit of a shorter walk by like a few feet. The overall sound level of the flea, other than the ambient noise of the crowd, is very minimal. Definitely you can hear a crowd, but we don't have live music. We don't have a DJ. The most you'll hear is some 70s music coming from a small Bluetooth speaker in somebody's booth. It is nothing where you'll hear music from far away. I think actually the loudest thing we may have had this weekend was a violin busker that had to politely ask to stop playing violin because it was a little bit disturbing. The neighborhood has never had, I saw one of the complaints and it was like, well, you know, I'm not living near the South Wedge because I don't want to be by Lilac Fest or Park Ave because I don't want to deal with Park Ave Fest. Why does it have to be here? And I understand that that is not something that these people did. They bought this property seeing that a flea market was going to come, but with it being the neighborhood of the arts right by the Anderson Arts Building, in a time where the arts are really, really hurting, this event has been a beacon for a lot of people who have had their businesses really hurt by COVID. So being able to come out and see this amazing crowd that's been supporting them. And I mean, if any of you have seen on social media, like, people have been really stoked about it and excited to be able to support all these local artists and local businesses. And this platform just isn't in Rochester right now. There are local flea markets, but nothing that quite curates this sort of crowd and this sort of demographic. There are most definitely growing pains though. And I myself am just 20 years old. This is very new for me as well. So I do appreciate any and all feedback we do get as we are learning to grow. And that is all.
All right, thank you, Chris. Maybe just a quick question. Had you considered other locations for the event?
We do want this approval because we want to make sure that we have this location in case we do need it, and we have gone through all the paperwork, and getting here takes a while, as Anna knows and as Anna has explained to us. So we wanted to make sure that while we do have your time, and I do appreciate the commission's time, that we do use it. But I will say that we are in progress of possibly moving relatively soon. But,
okay, just curious.
Yeah.
All right, any other comments for the applicant? Seeing none, we will close this case. Thank you,
Thank
Chris.
you for your time.
And we will close this hearing. And I have about 8:45. Let's reconvene at 9 o'clock. We will convene at 9 o'clock. Thank you. All right, so we'll see everybody at 9.